Hey everyone, welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead and this week's edition of Tasty Tuesday. We are just ending a week of solid rain and lower temperatures again. We've gone up and down in temps. We've been in the 80s one day and then in the 30s the next. It's just been crazy. So we still have a little bit of chill in the air, and so I thought, why not take advantage of the late season lower temps and make a hearty and nutritious chili. And because you know that I like spice, this is my Zesty Beef and Bean Chili recipe. Let's get started. For starters, we are going to be using one medium onion. Onions are high in vitamin C, and they're also high in a flavonoid, quercetin, that is a powerful antioxidant and overall helps lower inflammation and cholesterol. We're going to be using some homegrown and freeze-dried oregano, which is also loaded with antioxidants. And, hi Molly, it's also believed to fight both bacterial and viral infections as well. I've got some of the jalapenos that I preserved from last year's garden. These were in the freezer. I've defrosted them, and we're going to be using some of those today. And spicy peppers contain capsaicin, and capsaicin helps fight foodborne illness in your body, and it can also prevent some infections like strep throat. So eat your peppers. We're also going to be using cumin and chili powder. Cumin promotes digestion. It's a wonderful source of iron and antioxidants and helps prevent inflammation in your body. Chili powder also helps prevent inflammation in your body, and it helps with your circulation, so your blood flow. And of course, we're also going to be adding some ground beef. And ground beef is obviously a protein source, but it's also loaded with vitamins, especially B12 and zinc. We are also going to be using my crushed canned tomatoes that I showed how to do last year in 2024. And tomatoes are super high in antioxidants, lycopene, beta-carotene, and chlorogenic acid. I'm going to be putting chili beans in today's recipe. You can do black beans if you'd like. You can do any type of bean, but I just want a pint, and this is what I have preserved in pints. And kidney beans are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And we are going to be using some salt and pepper. Pepper is really rich in potassium. It also has antioxidants, and it's also an anti-inflammatory. So this meal that we are going to be putting together today is so incredibly healthy with all the antioxidants and all the anti-inflammation and all the flavor. This is going to be outstanding. We're also going to be using some garlic today, and I did pull down one of my home canned chicken bone broth just in case I need to add some for consistency. There's quite a bit of juice in with the tomatoes, but I might add a half cup to a cup of the chicken broth as well. Let's get cooking. I'm going to start by adding about 2 tablespoons of butter, which is about what I have left here in my butter dish, to my Dutch oven. And I'm going to turn that on low to start because I don't want the butter to burn, but I want to start getting it melted because we need to start cooking these onions. I've got my wet paper towel here to catch all of the compounds that make me cry when chopping onions. Fingers crossed that that's going to work today. And we're just going to dice these down. So I'm just going to cut off both ends of the onion and then slice it down the middle. Remove the outer layer of skin, which I always do the first layer of the onion too. And how you dice your onions is totally up to you on size. I don't like to go too tiny. I like a little bit of bite to them, but if you're trying to hide them, you can certainly cut them smaller. And I do not have culinary trained knife skills, but that's okay. You don't need them to make homemade, delicious and nutritious food for you, your family, and your loved ones. Cooking couldn't be easier if you just follow a recipe when you're first starting out, or you start developing your own recipes as you learn what you like and what foods work together, what flavor profiles you like, and how food behaves with each other. This is one of my recipes that I created, and no crying. Jan, I just will never stop thanking you for that trick. All right, our butter has started to melt. We've got a fairly decent amount across the bottom. The whole bottom is covered. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that heat up to about a medium high. And I'm gonna go ahead and just drop the onions right in. And we're gonna cook these until they're soft, so about 5 minutes or so on a medium-high flame. So I'll just stir these periodically until they are translucent and soft. Is she getting you, Molly? That's you. Is she getting you? This is looking really good, so we can not hover over it. We'll just stir it about every minute or so. These onions are looking fantastic. They're taking on just a beautiful golden color. I'll give you a look at that here in just a minute. I have 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to just get those sliced down. I don't necessarily want it minced, but I also don't want it too big either. That looks really good. Let's go ahead and get this in. These look so yummy. Here's our garlic. We're just gonna get that stirred around, and we're gonna let that go for about a minute, just until that is fragrant. Let that sit for a minute while I grab my spices. Oh yeah, that's really fragrant now. You definitely want to wait until you can smell the garlic. Really wake it up in there. This smells terrific. So we're gonna start with the oregano. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon. I'm gonna estimate that because I have whole leaves here because it's freeze dried. So this looks like a lot, but if it was crushed down into powder, that should be about a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of chili powder and 2 teaspoons of cumin. And we're going to let these spices also wake up in here. So we're going to dry toast these. Get those onions coated with all of that flavor and just let it cook like that for a minute. Oh, smells so good. And you'll want to keep stirring so nothing burns in here, but what we're doing is blooming the spices. We want to do this until everything is gloriously fragrant. All right, we should be good about now. Now I'm going to add in my jalapenos. I wrote this recipe for 1 jalapeno. I'm going to add a little bit more than what 1 jalapeno probably is, just because I do like the heat. And we're going to add some salt, about a teaspoon of salt in here. We're just gonna let that go for about a minute, and then we're gonna add in our ground beef. Definitely want to keep stirring, because if anything sits in one spot for too long with all these dry spices on here, you could burn the spice and ruin the taste. So keep everything a-moving. Now we can do our ground beef. I've got 1 pound of 90-10 ground beef. We're going to get that mixed in. You just want to break your meat up into smaller pieces as it starts to cook. And this should take up to 5 minutes to fully cook. And this is the tool I usually use when I'm browning meat like this, so I'm switching over. Just works a whole lot better, especially to break everything down. All right, we'll stir this periodically for up to 5 minutes. We're getting close. I need to make up some tomato paste. So I'm going to put some tomato powder. This is freeze-dried tomatoes powdered down, or actually this might be the skins and the seeds dehydrated and powdered down. We need about 4 tablespoons in all. I'm just going to estimate there because this is pretty fluffy powder, so it's going to shrink when we get it wet. We're going to mix it with some water. This looks and smells so good. And of course you can adjust to your liking. More or less onions, more or less garlic, more or none of the peppers. You can use bell peppers, you can use sweet peppers, whatever you want. It's your kitchen, your taste buds, your rules. But this looks super good to me. All right, so in this bowl of tomato powder, I'm just gonna add a little bit of water at a time because I don't want soup, we want it thick. So just slowly adding and mixing it through. I think I'm gonna actually need to get more water than I have here, maybe. Yes, for sure. Definitely need more. I have jars and jars and jars of tomato powder, so any chance I get where I can use some of that up, I love it. Nothing goes to waste, especially these days, you guys, with prices out of control and all the FUD we are hearing about the supply chain. Use what you have and preserve what you have, all of what you have, even if it's just tomatoes, skins, and seeds. All right, we're gonna add about 4 tablespoons of this into our pot here, and we're gonna stir that around and cook it for about a minute. I'm just gonna add all of this in. It was about 4 tablespoons. Switch out my tool here just for better stirring ability. Look how incredible that looks. Looks so good. We've got some sticking going on, but we'll deglaze that with some liquid and it will be just fine. Oh my goodness, this is so yummy. And I'm gonna add 1 bay leaf in here. We're gonna leave it intact because we will be fishing that back out. I'm gonna add 2 pieces because they're broken. I'm gonna go in with my crushed tomatoes. You can use diced tomatoes. You can use any tomatoes that you have jarred up. And I'm also including all of the water. You definitely need some liquid in here. Deglaze the side of this pan. And we'll get this all mixed in. These tomatoes will break down as you stir and as it cooks. And now here's where you get to decide whether or not you want some chicken stock in here. And because we are gonna cook this for about 20 minutes, we're gonna bring it to a boil and then we're gonna simmer it for about 20 minutes. I am going to add the chicken stock because we are going to lose liquid volume during that cook time. I'm gonna start with 1/2 cup and we'll see what we look like. I can always add more later too. That's about where I would want it when it's finished, and since I know that it's going to reduce, I'm gonna go ahead and add another 1/2 cup. And then if it's too watery, if it's too liquidy, you can always reduce it further by cooking it just a little bit longer. There we go, that looks really good. So I'm gonna bring this up to a boil, and then we'll get it to a simmer. See, the tomatoes are already breaking down just by stirring around. This looks so good. Now would be a good time to taste it to adjust any seasonings. We have not yet added the pepper. We'll do that later, but we can taste it for saltiness as well as for the other spices that we put in. I think it needs a little bit more salt. Give that a stir and we'll give it another try. Oh yeah, way better. That's good, we're good. And we are boiling. I'm gonna cover that and drop the heat to low. For 20 minutes. All right, let's take a look. Oh, smells so good. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out these bay leaves. These are ready to come out. This one's easy to grab. I'm gonna get this stirred through. And now I'm gonna test it for spice because this is the point at which I will add the black pepper if I want that in here. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit. I mean, this is amazing. This flavor combination is absolutely incredible, but I do like pepper, and pepper is good for you. So maybe 1/2 teaspoon. I'll get that mixed around. Now I'm gonna go in with 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. This acid is going to help balance the flavors in here a lot. Just that little amount is going to work magic in here. Oh, this is so good. You have to give this recipe a try. And if you do, please let me know in the comments below how you liked it. Now I'm gonna add the beans. If you're not a bean chili kind of person, you can certainly leave those out. And then you would just continue to simmer this uncovered until it is the thickness that you like. So we're just gonna go in with some home canned kidney beans. And these will warm through, because these have already cooked in the canning process. So these will warm through, and they'll also help thicken this up a little bit. So I would say simmer uncovered at this point for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So this looks fantastic to me. Even the consistency looks great. If it gets too thick on you, you can add some more stock or broth, whatever you have, or even some water, or even some tomato juice. Look how incredible. I can't wait to eat this. So we're just gonna let that simmer uncovered for 5 minutes and then we'll check it. But I am telling you, this is the best chili, especially if you like an intense flavor. 5 more minutes, I can't wait. All right, here we are at the 5-minute mark. Let's give this a stir. Oh yeah, that looks perfect to me. I don't want it soupy, but I also don't want it just thick. I want there to be broth. So I think we are ready to get this plated up. And let's face it, the best part about homemade chili is the toppings. And you can get really creative with that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off. I am going to do a little shredded cheese. I have cheddar here today, so that is what I'm going to use. It's about an ounce of cheddar. I've got some of my favorite sour cream, Nancy's sour cream with probiotic. So I'll put a little dollop of that on here. I bought a couple bags a while back of pre-diced frozen avocados, and I'm still working through those. So I'm gonna go ahead and use those in here today. I just defrosted them. Now you could also add some fresh cilantro or parsley if you'd like. You could even use dried, and that would just boost your immunity even more with those, with the health benefits of the different herbs that you would use. Don't forget to use your herbs. They provide your body with amazing support. All right, let's give this a taste. This zesty beef and bean chili is seriously the best chili that I've ever had. And I think you will love it too. Let's give it a try. I've got some sour cream, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of avocado, and of course the steamy chili that's hot. Come on. Oh my goodness. And that Nancy's sour cream, it wouldn't be the same without it. That is the best sour cream. Another bite. That cheese is just melting on there. Oh, so good. The spices are perfect. To me, it is not too spicy. It is absolutely heaven. But spices are always to taste, so feel free to adjust to your preferences or add things that I didn't include in my recipe. I'm gonna have one more bite with you guys, and then I am gonna go devour this because this is, I'm telling you, this is insanely good. So good. I do hope you give this recipe a try, and if you do, please leave me a comment down below and let me know how you liked it and if you made any changes to it. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Tasty Tuesday, Zesty Beef and Bean Chili. My name is Kelly, you're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you come back and visit again soon.